You're going to really frame Bear as the hero of this, and I'm going to come out swinging. No. Hi, everybody. I'm Amy Newman.
And I'm Kris Carr.
And we are two... Lipstick in my Valentino white bag. You're not Kris Carr.
No, I'm sorry. My disguise did not work.
Kris left a substitute with the class today. And the listeners want to know that Kris said we could just watch a movie today.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are, learning Spanish. So as long as it's in Spanish, I think that's okay. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But she left behind a myriad of inappropriate videos.
R-rated films.
Saving Private Ryan.
In Espanol.
With Eyes Wide Shut.
With Eyes Wide Shut.
Is it with Eyes Wide Shut?
I think you're thinking with the arms wide open.
It's just Eyes Wide Shut, isn't it? Damn it.
As long as it's in Espanol.
It's why I'm not a main anchor here.
But Kris could not be here this week. She's off doing great, cool stuff. She had some really fun acting opportunities come up that she is off taking. So she's left me here to steer the ship with Eric. So if things look or sound a little different this week, thank you for bearing with us. We're just trying something out. Because I will say, we're not going to watch dirty R-rated movies in Spanish. But while Kris is away, we're going to talk about horror movies.
Oh, yeah.
I think she knew too many horror movies had come out, and it was only a matter of time before someone lied and said she'd like them. Yeah. The number of times. All right, I want to get this out of the way right now. So we're two filthy casual. I'm a filthy casual. Eric's a stand-in filthy casual. And we know that getting into a new fandom can be intimidating. So we are here to help you hop the fence. I don't know what the fuck Kris says. I'm now realizing. But we're here for a gatekeeping free space to your fandom. And I'm here to talk about one of my favorite things, scary movies. But I think Kris knew these were not scary movies for her. And I want to get this out of the way right now because I've had a couple of DMs, a couple people asking me about this. We are here to talk about two huge, big box office hits, critically pretty well lauded hits, great horror movies that just dropped, Obsession and Backrooms. I'm going to say this, and this is not me gatekeeping. This is me wanting to be honest with you. If you don't like horror movies, I do not think these are horror movies for you. Often, and I see you all. Kris comes to me. I want you to know there's a second layer in place when all of you DM Kris and go, no, actually, you'd love Obsession. Kris turned to me and was like, Amy, people are telling me I can handle this. Should I go see it? No, don't tell her that. And this is my, again, not gatekeeping, but if you are genuinely like, I don't care for horror movies. I think these sound intense, but I'm curious. Maybe at least wait till they come out in video on demand.
Well, and it's kind of funny too, because I don't think this is an entry point for us fellow scaredy cats. Mm-mm. But I think if you have a curiosity, if you've dipped your toes in the water, I do think this is a pretty good entry point if you're a novice horror movie person looking to get more.
Yes, but if you are like,
yeah,
I don't mess with a horror movie. I don't like being. This isn't like Sinners.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, it's got horror elements, but I think go see it. These are true blue horror movies.
Yeah.
And we'll get into, I think we have maybe differing opinions on which one is scarier.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I would firmly qualify both as films that scared me as someone who watches a decent amount of horror.
Yeah.
Both genuinely scared me.
Yeah, it's got, both of these have really good surface level scares that are very well made, very well executed, but it's also, I think both of them have a psychological element to them that really stick with you after the movie ends.
Both had a little bit of a, hope this doesn't come back when I go to sleep tonight. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we are here to talk about, because it was a horror month.
Yeah. Oh, we're eating good.
Hokum, which we still haven't seen. I saw the trailer and said, I just don't care to look at whatever that boo ass big-eyed thing is. Mm-hmm. I meant to catch it.
Scarier Babadook design.
Ooh. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride to the Babadook. Gay icon Babadook. Thank you for reminding me. I would have been remiss had I not said it. Passengers? Mm-hmm. I'm missing a bunch, but there were several. But I feel like the two buzziest ones, and the two we made sure to get out and catch were Obsession and Backrooms, both of which have blown up.
Yeah.
America's got Backrooms fever, baby. America's hiding in the back of furniture stores. If you work at an Ashley Furniture, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There are people just back there, just slamming into walls, trying to get back there because it looks so damn fun. And people cursing each other.
Yes.
I guess let's jump in on Obsession because we saw it first. Both of these, I believe, feature film debuts for their directors, which I think is also part of what's felt so buzzy about this, right? You have Curry Barker and Kane Parsons, both children to me. I believe Kane Parsons is 20, which is wild. And Curry Barker, who was 26, which is wild but shouldn't be, I guess. I think I'm just old now, and I'm like, that's a child. I very much have that Broad City, like, married. I'm 26. What am I, a child bride? Like, I'm still in that. But yeah, I think part of why these felt so huge, and maybe it is partly that because these were two debut filmmakers, these are two Gen Z film. Is Kane Parsons even something younger than that?
I mean, at that point, it might be slightly Gen Alpha. I'm not too sure where the cutoff is, so and hope I don't offend anyone. I think, the point that these are two very young filmmakers is definitely like a bullet point in kind of the interest buzzing, but also too that these are completely original properties, not based on IP, because right now in cinema, we've been swimming in IP soup and mega franchises.
Well, and they feel fresh, right? For any flaws that might exist of like, oh, these are filmmakers finding their footing, I think that's so far outweighed by this feels fresh, this feels original. I think people were really excited with Obsession that these were two leads we haven't seen in 800 things. The leads in Backrooms I thought were also fantastic. They're just maybe more established actors.
Well, I don't know. Obsession does have super mega star Andy Richter.
Andy Richter in like a jump scare cameo. I get like, because he's almost in the background when you see him. I'm like, is that Andy Richter? Am I losing my mind? Because that movie did make me feel like I was losing my mind. Though I will counter Eric on the IP thing. Did you know that Obsession was, I won't say based on, but inspired by the greatest Halloween media of all time, a Simpsons Treehouse of Horror segment.
Oh, very cool.
The Bart gets the monkey paw.
Ah, that
segment.
makes, I mean, it's very obvious now that you've said it.
Was Curry Barker's like, I mean, and monkey paw's an old concept and story, but that was what sparked for him, like, I think there's something here in a wish gone wrong sort of format. And then Backrooms, I did have a very funny moment because Backrooms, 4chan finally contributing something of value to this world. We got one. And I think it was my parents. I very confidently said creepypasta, and they were like, what did you just say? And I was like, right.
We are children of the internet. You are not.
My brain is melted in a very specific way. But yeah, based on sort of this, I found out recently, so that is the original Backrooms, did you know, was a 2002 photo of an emptied out furniture store that just like creeped everyone out the right way.
Yeah.
And I think the internet's always been obsessed with this idea of a liminal space.
Yeah, definitely. Unsettling and creepy, but not outright horrific. Just a little, you get the creepies.
An odd sense of just, I'm not sure I should be here.
Yeah.
Which I feel like when I first learned about liminal spaces, they seemed less
foreboding.
Yeah, malicious to me. It was more just like, you know when you're like in an airport at night? Now it's like, what if there's a giant guy that's going to eat you?
I have always gotten the heebie-jeebies being on like school property with nobody else there because it's such a...
How often does that come up for you?
I used to work in education.
Oh, okay.
So often enough years ago, but for a space that's so full of life and energy, for that to just be nothing, I always got the heebie-jeebies from it. So
sure.
What are we diving into?
I guess Obsession, which felt like more of the sleeper hit. This was the one that was a total, I didn't know this was coming. I didn't know what this was.
Well, you couldn't. They didn't have much of a marketing budget. This thing was made for $750K, if I'm correct.
That is correct, yeah.
Which is bananas.
Yeah. And has grossed now, let me check my notes, over $230 million worldwide.
God.
Which, we'll get into this in a minute, raises some interesting questions, I think, from a business standpoint.
Oh, sure. In like an industry standpoint, sure.
But
Yeah.
what is Eric? What is Obsession about?
Yeah, so Obsession is a movie about a guy named Bear who's a slightly soft-spoken, kind of to himself guy who.
You're gonna really frame Bear as the hero of this, and I'm gonna come out
no,
swinging.
no. He's not the hero by any means.
He's a good
but
man who did nothing
wrong. No, he did so many things wrong later. But he starts out as a very soft-spoken to himself kind of guy, kind of a nice guy. We've all
Both
know
in
that.
and out of quotes, I would say, is accurate.
Who has a crush on a fellow co-worker.
At a music store with 85 employees
Yes.
and 2 customers.
Yes.
Andy Richter, you're never going to financially recover from this one.
So he's got a crush on this girl. He's got a friend who also works at the store who's pushing him to just, say how you feel about her and all that. He never does. Instead, he finds himself buying an item for her because she's kind of into crystals and supernatural stuff. So he goes into a supernatural store and he finds these things called One Wish Willows that claim to grant any wish you make by simply breaking it and wishing upon it. He wishes that she falls in love with him, and it's not that simple. I think is a pretty good general premise.
Yep. But wait, it gets worse.
Yes, the train quickly goes off the rails.
This movie is nuts. It has a sequence. We will try to keep this as spoiler free as possible.
Okay, we are spoiler free. Gotcha.
I think is the way to proceed with this, because I don't have the banjo queued up here, and if you don't hear a banjo, you'd never know a spoiler was how would you know? You're eating barbecue in spoiler country. You're eating spoiler. The ribs are plot points.
Yeah,
that's how spoiler country works.
Yeah,
this metaphor got away from me, but there is a sequence in this movie, and if you've seen the movie, I think you know what sequence I'm talking about, that I would say is sort of the biggest. There's creepier moments, but sort of the biggest jump scare, the biggest shocker of the movie that I genuinely hooted and hollered. Like, I genuinely gasped, I genuinely yelled, and I genuinely was sitting there with my mouth agape.
I think what's setting this movie apart from typical horror movies is Barker has done an incredible job of not announcing the scares. The scares simply happen. They're very quiet. There's some things that you might just completely miss watching this and then following up on the internet going like, oh shit, I did not see that at all, and that just got creepier.
Well, and it's a great movie that does... The jump scares are well done and fun, but it's not jump scare heavy. It keeps you a little off your axis in a really fun way. Like, it kind of keeps throwing your emotional equilibrium out of whack. Just weird little things like there's a way a character moves and they use it so quickly and so briefly. And I think it's just that they play footage backwards, but they use it so fast that your brain doesn't even quite have time to process it. They have a lot of fun with sort of that uncanny valley makeup where you're just getting these glimpses of a character in shadow and you're like, genuinely, am I losing my mind, or does she look weird, right? Does she look very scary right now?
Shout out to our lead actress,
Indy Navarrete.
Excellent. Indy Navarrete. Because you've said this after we watched the movie, that she has an impressive face for changing. There's some way, and like some makeup might be involved, some post might be involved. However, the base set that she can do between smiling genuinely to smiling creepy to this darkness and stuff is absolutely incredible.
That girl's given Florence Pugh a run for her money on the full like upside down frowny face that like I physically can't do. Just that like like, but it's just a full little, it's so good. Yeah, amazing control of her face, amazing commitment. I'm really hoping, just especially now with Amy Madigan and Michael B. Jordan winning last year for horror, and like shout out to my girl Demi, who I feel like her not winning for The Substance was a bit of the turning point of everyone going, hey, wait, that was a really good performance. So I'm hoping now that we are starting to recognize genre a little bit more, I'm really hoping Indy Navarrete at least gets a
Yeah.
nomination for this because it's just such a buck wild performance.
Her performance having to be because as this spell takes hold, it's not like a traditional possession or something, but it is very much not her as we know her in the movie. It is something taking over, and there are points, and let me know if I'm in spoiler country. I'm going to try to stay on the border.
Keep it vague.
There are points where the real her and the Wish Willow her kind of pop in and out, and to be able to vacillate or oscillate between those two, it was some of the most incredible one actor playing two different parts that I've seen. I mean, probably since Sinners.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely incredible, and she deserves absolutely a nod and all the offers she's going to get.
Yeah. And no, very, very excited to see what she does next. I will say also, shout out to Michael Johnston, who it's not his fault that it's a credit to him as an actor, how much I want to drop kick Bear.
And that's it. Yeah, that's our guy who plays Bear.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I want to drop kick him.
Yeah.
Good for him. Good for you, buddy. You did great and you deserve more work.
Mm-hmm.
I will separate actor from role and say that is a tremendous performance. He does a really good job. And I think to his credit, to the movie's credit, I think it's fantastic work in doing. So I feel like we sort of have this thing where horror movies, and this is a huge generalization, stuff exists within this that very much lives outside of these bounds. But sort of for my money, it felt like when we were young, there was an era where horror movies were kind of silly, right? You had your Saw, your Paranormal Activity, your Final Destinations, really fun movies. And I'm not saying there aren't deeper meanings or messages or morals or whatever. The moral of Final Destination being don't drive behind that truck. Don't do it. But kind of silly, popcorny, campy horror. And then
fun.
Yes. And horror has always been political, always been, I'm not saying, I don't want to discount that we've been talking about bigger issues via horror for a very, very, very long time. But it did feel like Get Out was sort of this reemergence of the heavy-handed sounds so negative.
If I made that horror is the vehicle to make social commentary.
Yes, thank you. And we got a lot of that. We have so many movies, our Hereditaries and Midsummers and our Get Outs and all the where it's either social commentary or it's grief. And it felt like we had hit a real phase. The Babadook, another great example, another kickoff for it's all a metaphor for grief, which again, not a new thing, but got very, very, very popular. And I feel like with both these movies, actually, we're hitting a really fun split the difference of you can watch Obsession and it's just a scary monkey paw story about a wish gone wrong. Or it is a fantastic allegory for sort of that nice guy syndrome, for questions of consent, for autonomy, who we become in relationships. There are so many levels to this that you totally can dig into, but it doesn't feel like it ever goes, you get it?
Yeah. And I think there's a precision with that. And I think that's what's making this so buzzworthy is Barker comes from a comedy background. And I mean, it shouldn't be too surprising. Jordan Peele did too. And I mean, the two have so much more in common than they don't.
I'll say it before I'll say it again. It is all setup, timing, subversion of expectations to get an emotional response out of a person, whether it's comedy or a scare.
Yeah. The same way I've heard it is tension and release.
Yeah.
But
and both are amazing tools to, without it feeling heavy. The cat just leapt, by the way. The cat just soared across the room to play with his little spring. It was incredible. If we both went, that's why. But no, and both, I think, some of the best tools in our arsenal to talk about deeper issues without feeling like you're sitting an audience down and lecturing them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, if Bear made you feel icky, good. That was intentional.
Yeah. I do have to put you slightly on blast. And I know what you meant with this, especially with the concept of the original Wish why would he think this would be the outcome? We did walk out of the theater and you went, that movie was crazy. It's so heartbreaking too, because no one did anything wrong.
I don't think I said that. I think I said nobody is really the villain.
Okay. And I don't think my head has ever turned so slowly or intentionally towards a human being. I was like, were we watching the same movie?
Here we are. I'm hitchhiking on spoiler freeway. I'm gonna thread this needle as best I can.
Okay.
The intention behind the wish feels very pure. It feels very human. It feels very, I want this, without thinking about the ramifications
and again,
of what happens.
At this point in time, magic isn't real. Like, what haven't we all done some little, like, I'm going to write my little wish, I'm going to blow out my birthday candle and think of something.
He loves me, he loves me not kind of deal.
Very human, very understandable. I don't blame him for that.
Not the problem. The transformation is, throughout the movie, there are points where he has choices, and the choices he consistently makes are incredibly selfish.
He makes a cowardly decision at almost every turn.
Yes.
And he makes some really icky decisions if you want to really dig into the deeper ramifications of things.
Yeah, and that's why I think he's not outrightly a villain. It's just, this is a person we kind of all know in that way of, these are just incredibly self-centered, selfish choices that he's making that makes this situation worse. He has so much opportunity to do something, anything, but he sits with the idea of, this is okay, this is good for me.
Well, it's akin to, and I'm not calling you out as this person, but like those conversations I feel like that have happened around consent, where stories come out and you hear people kind of going, well, I've done similar stuff to that, and am I a bad guy? And it's like, well, maybe reassess some of your action. Like, I do think it's a well done movie in that you see where Bear's coming from. You know people like Bear. We've all been somebody like Bear at points in our life. And it does hold that mirror up of, he's not a villain. He's not, going, oh, perfect, Nikki's been...
Yeah, it's not a trap he sets.
No. He just continually does the wrong fucking thing.
He's not villainous. He's just incredibly flawed.
Yes.
But I love that too, because personally, I love horror movies where the punishment fits. There's so many movies that go, way off, kilter, because we got to get to the fun stuff. Like, let's take fucking Saw. The premise is great. We're going to punish bad people for doing bad things and kind of like torture them, and that fits their crime or whatever. But it just, when you actually put a logical spin on it, it feels so wild that like a man kidnaps 8 people to torture them to teach them a lesson. It's just like, it's wild. But this
You let Wesley go.
But this is like so much more quiet and from a place of just like qualities of being a human, a desire, and then once I get something and know I have to let it go, how can I? Not villainous, but extremely flawed. And yes, and the crime, the punishment fits the crime indeed at the end, I believe.
I think some people get done dirty who didn't deserve it.
Absolutely.
No, truly one of the bleakest endings to it. Like, you will not. Hey, quick PSA: do not watch this on an early date.
Yes,
this is not a first date movie. This is not a second date movie. I had questions if this was a married for almost 3 years movie. Like, just don't.
Yeah.
Just don't.
For me, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 movie.
Yeah.
Probably a 10 out of 10 because I don't know what I would change differently to make me enjoy it more. It was a ride. I totally understand the counterculture that's happening now of it's gotten all this buzz and now people are watching it going, wasn't that scary?
Okay.
But there's so much more beneath this than just the scares and the horror. It's definitely one of my most recommended movies at this moment.
It's excellent. In the spirit of a question I know we ask our guests a lot, I would say if you like this, if you have not seen It Follows, I think this exists in a very similar world, a little out of time, a little out of place, where you can't quite place like, no, wait, this is present day, but it kind of feels like the 90s, but it kind of, and just that slight eerie throwing you off kilter thing.
It's a podunk town that could be the Midwest, could be the East Coast.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. So that would be my rec if you watch this and love it and are looking for something similar.
And then to finish out that with a thought. If you are interested in watching this, if you are going in blind and haven't done any research on it, the only thing I will put a cautionary out there for is if you have any problem with animal death, cruelty, whatever, that is a big part of the movie and a reoccurring part of the movie. So just know that going in.
Small spoiler, but it's in the first 5 minutes. The movie opens with a cat dying and it gets worse.
Yeah.
So do with that what you will if that is a hard line for you.
I just don't want to send anyone to the cinema going, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Also people, but for some reason everybody's like,
We don't have a website saying, does the human survive? We have, does the dog live?
Sure.
So I will say, I think the most interesting conversation that has come up, I mean, beyond all the obvious, discussion of just, hey, people want new talent, new ideas, and new, et cetera, and stuff that just feels fresh and interesting. As we mentioned, Obsession was made for less than $1 million and now has grossed a tremendous amount of money. I believe it's the highest grossing film for Focus Features ever, and was one of the highest genre acquisition from the Toronto Film Festival ever. So tremendous amount of money being spent and made off of this movie in the aftermath of it being, made sort of on this shoestring budget. Now, what has come out of that, Sally Choi, who was the art director for the film, has come out and discussed, hey, this is what I signed on for. In her defense, I think she's gotten a lot of unfair people kind of putting words in her mouth. But basically, my understanding is she was kind of just saying, hey, I signed on to make this for $300 a day. And it's kind of crazy that number doesn't go up when this movie grossed what it grossed.
Yeah.
It's an interesting conversation. As someone who has worked for less than that as a day rate, as an artist, I don't know what the answer is.
It's an interesting discussion because there's a contract involved. You read the contract. You agree to the terms of the contract. If you put anything in there that has a clause like that of I make a certain percentage if this crosses a certain threshold, the problem with the industry is there's so much competition for a job of any kind. You put something in there like that, you will get passed over for somebody who will do the rate that is being offered. So it is a weird rock and a hard place of you're forced to take it. However, I do believe that, maybe a mandatory, some kind of bonus.
If this is a record-breaking hit, it feels like... But at the end of the day, it's not like Curry Barker's going, you don't get paid more. We're dealing with corporations that, of course, aren't going to turn around and do this.
I think a fair point that has been made, too, is no. It sucks that it's not monetary, but what you get out of this being so successful and good is you are the person who worked on that. You did that job for that. Your ability to field jobs should logically shoot up to be able to say yes to better paying, better projects,
ideally, obviously she did a good job. The whole creative team did a good job pulling this movie together. And again, making it work on that budget and look as good as it does. But yeah, absolutely. Hopefully everyone who worked on this, I assume we'll see that career boost coming off of it. Is that entirely fair?
No.
Probably not. It's
that's the minutia of it, expanding out on it. Workers' rights, pay people what they're worth. I do think that, this is a very special, not occasion. I want to call it circumstance. Thank you. It's a very special occasion for this movie. It's a very special circumstance.
It's birthday.
Where, between what it was made for and how much it's made, this is a very uncommon thing that happens.
But I think it does just raise interesting conversations. And again, it bums me out when people just shut it down immediately of well, that wasn't in your contract, which fair. And I don't think her argument is even entirely, I should get a bigger cut of this. It's more just, hey, I just want to make you aware that a lot of times your favorite artists are making a fraction of what you think they are, maybe a fraction of what their contribution was ultimately worth on the project. I think artists, and as you mentioned, because of the competitive nature of the entertainment industry as a whole, I think that work is often devalued, and we assume that top 0.001% making
millions and millions of dollars on a project is so incredibly in the minority, and there are so many incredible artists working on shoestring budgets and making things work and working on projects that are doing pretty well that are still wondering how to scrape together a rent in LA. So I think it's just good that that conversation is being had regardless of your actual feelings on what is owed legally or morally or whatever you want to call that.
Completely agree.
Which I guess brings us to, I would say, one we were a little more split on.
I agree, yeah.
Backrooms.
Backrooms.
Or do you want to say it?
No, because it didn't get a laugh the first 2 times, so I'm not going to...
The audience is going to like it, though.
Back shots? Did you guys like that one? Tell me you liked it.
Comments? Go ahead. Hey, be nice.
Yeah, Backrooms. I think we're generally a little bit more split on this, which was kind of interesting to me too, because going into this, I did not grow up. I wasn't a baby growing up with this, but I was very privy to the creepypasta and a little bit of the stuff that took off.
Oh, were you? Did you watch? So, because a big part of why they handed a 20-year-old the keys to the car on this one. Which I would be nervous giving the 20-year-old the keys to a real car. Good job, Hollywood.
Yeah.
Solid choice.
That's why we don't rent cars to 20-year-olds.
Truly. But Kane Parsons, did you watch his web series at all? Because I was not familiar with it.
I did not watch the web series. I definitely was all in the text chains about it, because it really spread around, a bunch of forum boards. At that point, I was very much into like first-person shooter computer games, and a lot of those kind of crossed over community-wise. So a lot of game communities would like link to these like back rooms, like little short stories, and they were creepy. They gave me the heebie-jeebies.
Well, then yet another. Your jeebies have been well heebied this month. Make no mistake. What are the Backrooms, Eric?
Yeah, the Backrooms are an alternate dimension that exists beyond our world, beyond a wall that seemingly expand out and kind of in this weird way. Like the Backrooms, what I liked most about it was it didn't explain everything. It's not here to tell you the rules and all the lore.
And I will agree with I loved it. I will admit I welled up. I was so creeped out a few times.
Yeah.
Like I was, that sounds better than saying I was in tears. I was so scared, but I guess that's also accurate.
Yeah. The Backrooms are a labyrinth of liminal spaces and rooms.
Yes. But I will say, I do agree with the critique that the more it explained, like kind of the more science-y edge of this was the weaker point of the movie. The stronger point is just, what are the Backrooms? No.
Yeah.
It's that feeling when you're in a hallway and it just kind of feels like it won't end and you're not quite sure and you feel a little out of space and time in an icky way.
Yep.
That's Backrooms. So another one, though, that I do think walks a line well of creating this movie that is very much about that, but we're following Clark, played by, I think, an excellent Chiwetel Ejiofor. One note, I thought both the leads in this movie are fantastic. Obviously, he was great. I do really like Renate Reinsve, I believe is how you pronounce it. Loved her in Sentimental Value. Tremendously good actress. Neither of them American. And I do think there were moments where they both had that little edge of, hello, it's me, a normal American. Where it's like, well, you sound ever so slightly like you're from Boston. And I don't think that was the intention.
Right.
Not that I can do an accent better than that, but it was just funny to have both leads with that slight edge of, but maybe it kind of helped the weirdness of the world that they both sounded like ever so slightly.
Just off. Yeah.
I don't know. But both pretty good at the accent work generally. Yeah. But I do think Clark is sort of this character where this is a movie about, and again, trying not to get into too many spoiler territory, he's not a great guy. And I do think this is kind of a movie about shitty, stilted people and how they sort of weigh on the people around them if they're truly like kind of narcissistic and terrible. But again, not in a way that's heavy-handed, not in a way that I think you even 100% have to pick up on to enjoy what's really strong about this movie.
Yeah.
But I liked that a lot. So he is a furniture store manager, owner. Divorced, kind of going through therapy, going through this, a bit of a rough patch in his life. And he finds, you're not going to believe this, guys, back shots.
Nice.
Backrooms. Backrooms in the furniture store that are, just these sort of endless out of space and time. And like, locks the fuck in.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? Hell yeah. See, this movie scared me very badly, but I simply would not go in there. I think if my hand phased through a wall, I would just go crazy. Bye. And never go back towards that wall again in my life. I truly think I may just have that little sense of adventure that I'd just be like, okay, I'm changing jobs. But he locks in and goes into these back rooms, and it goes about as well as you would expect.
It's not a happy, fun time family movie for sure.
No.
But I think, because we were pretty split. I think you were a little sweeter on this one than I was.
I loved it. I will admit it is imperfect. Like Obsession, I agree. I'm just like, I thought that was just pretty much movie. An A+. I had fun. I was scared. At one point, I was sitting between you and friend of the show, Tyler Palo, and like, go look up his episode. But at one point, I looked over and you both were like, just like
watching through our fingers.
Yeah, you almost were like, hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil, like on either side, just like.
And I'm pretty good at that removal of like, that's a screen. Yeah. I'm sitting here. It can't get me. But I was unsettled.
Yeah, but Backrooms, I found scarier to me, like upset me more deeply. But I can't deal with uncanny. That kind of slightly off. My recommendation, if you did like this one, if you haven't checked out Us, Jordan Peele's Us. To me, hit an exact same. But another one that I think people are very divided on if it worked or not in the final analysis. Yeah. But for me, hit that exact same, like, this feels familiar, but makes me sick to my tummy. Like, this makes me feel like, in just such a specific way. That's my review. They couldn't figure out how to spell it on the poster. Amy Newman.
So I don't want to pit these movies against each other in any kind of way, but I do think it's a good jumping off point for conversation.
No, dog, I want them to fight and then I want them to kiss.
Well, I know what money I'm putting on which movie, but I do think it's a good jumping off point in conversation with each other for contrasting pieces, because I think why I was so much sweeter on Obsession than Backrooms was Obsession was so human, about human connection and like relationship and all of that. Backrooms, what it does and what it does well is world building, lore heavy, kind of this ambiguous concept.
Yeah. Backrooms is best when it's vibes.
Yes, and when it hits its themes. I actually had a thought the other day that thematically, and I think this is more me coming to a personal conclusion than an intentional one. I think the movie is about curiosity, because like quite literally his curiosity to enter these back rooms and keep exploring, but on a deeper, more cerebral level, we're curious about ourselves and pieces of ourselves and what makes us us. And we have a tendency when we have problems or know we're problematic to either shy away from them or kind of charge in head on to understand ourselves better.
Yeah.
So I kind of saw that when I kind of came to that, I softened up on it a little bit, because I was kind of like, there's not much humanity in here. I don't see much connection. I don't quite know why I care about these characters. But then coming at it as a more thematic approach and kind of the theme being a main player as well.
That's really interesting. That's not what I took from it at all, but I think that's a very valid read. Again, to me, I think this is a movie about destructive narcissistic people.
Yes.
To me, it's almost the opposite of someone like so unwilling to admit that they might be the cause of their problems that they see a space that exists out of time and our dimension and kind of go, cool.
Right.
I could chill here for a while because nothing's my fault here, because I don't have to deal with the mess I've made of my own life here. Is kind of what I took it to be.
Yeah. No,
but I think both are valid.
Yeah, honestly, because I think and this I do think was intentional on the filmmaker's part, these back rooms start to change slightly in a very eerie way that reflects the psyche of our people.
It's so good.
Yes, and that I will give flowers absolutely to. Like I cannot poo-poo on this movie all around. And I honestly don't. Like I didn't dislike it. I think it was just for hype and buzz and from reading the old creepypastas and stuff. I was expecting something slightly more just not even just scary, but like and maybe it's more of the time I was younger. I was a little bit more afraid of the world reading those creepypastas. Maybe I was expecting it to kind of transport me back to being a child, but now being an adult, I have to grapple with these themes as a fully fledged adult. And I think maybe even there was some pieces of it that I didn't like because it was like, oh, that feels very centered almost.
Yeah, and for me, it did kind of transport me back to being a kid in a very eerie way, and I really liked that about it. But again, I think primarily, I do think, and I agree, I think Obsession is a stronger movie. I think Backrooms, I'm more excited to rewatch, because I just think there is this unsolvable quality to it that will keep me coming back a bit more. I think Obsession has a lot of great detail work, but Backrooms, there was just stuff I feel like I almost missed, or I was too busy crying, or the scariest thing of all, y'all, I had to tell 2 different people to put their damn phones away.
Yeah.
And that was the scariest part of all. Because that is such a vibe movie, too. It's like, no. Like, if I can't feel kind of immersed, I want to be in the back room, baby. You're ruining this for me.
What it does effectively is it makes you share the space in there. And that's why, too, I would push, personally, if you can, see this on the big screen.
There is a found footage sequence that someone was saying feels closer to what a lot of his web series was doing, which would make sense to me, because it is sort of effectively, lo-fi, low budget. And this does distinctly take place in the 90s. Yeah. I believe it's, Yeah,
very intentionally.
But I found that sequence pants shitting. Absolutely goddamn chilling.
Yeah.
So effective, so well done, so creepy, such a vibe. That and the very last shot of this movie. I feel like not enough horror movies go for the make the last shot an actual stomach drop. And actually, both of these kind of end on a stomach drop, oh fuck moment.
Yeah. And that, I think what these both do so effectively is that there's a life after these movies. Like when the credits roll, there is still a world going on that you are very aware of these repercussions, these consequences. And to your point on rewatchability, Obsession, I would definitely rewatch.
Yeah, I'd gladly go see either again.
I think Backrooms actually has a little bit of an attached rewatchability. Like a second watch, I could honestly see myself enjoying it a second time a little bit more than the first.
Yeah.
And I think there's almost a component to it of, if you like it, you're going to get something again out of watching the second one. I don't know how much you're going to get out of Obsession watching it a second time.
Beyond just, this is a great movie.
Exactly. Yeah. But Backrooms, I think, has a lot going on that is very layered and you can appreciate on multiple watches.
Yeah. But both good.
Again, good.
I'd be hard-pressed to pick a favorite. I almost want to say Backrooms just because it affected me more deeply. But again, I do agree that I think Obsession might be objectively a tighter and stronger movie.
Either way, I'm excited to see what both of these filmmakers come up with next. It feels like they very much proved their worth and have a bit of a blank check coming their way.
Absolutely. Well-deserved. But let us know in the comments what your thoughts were. Again, I know particularly Backrooms was a little bit divisive, and I'm curious to hear people's thoughts and feelings and opinions. And if you saw both, if you saw neither, if you said, I'm scared, I'm not going, I respect that. You know your boundaries. Eric, thanks for being my husband / co-host / guinea pig.
It is a joy to be all of those.
Aw, isn't that sweet? Well, where can people find you, Eric?
Yeah, you can catch me at Viva La Danes on Instagram. You can catch me on Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock on Twitch, streaming A Legacy of Fools, an actual play D&D. campaign. And I'm on an improv team called Big Yellow Taxi, and you can follow them at BYT Improv on Instagram.
Great. And as for us, you know where to find us, folks. But if you're watching this and you ever need an audio version, we're on all your favorite podcatchers. Vice versa, if you're listening and you want to see our beautiful brick wall behind us, that's real. No green screen. Check that out. No AI. No green screen. All brick. Eric, go slap the brick wall. Thank you. And what if you phased into a back room? Oh, snap.
I'll be exploring.
This whole episode is a setup for the backroom sequels. Thank you to Kane Parsons for directing this episode of the podcast.
Big fan of the podcast.
Big fan. We are on YouTube, though. You can always follow us on social media at Two Filthy Casuals Pod, wherever you are listening or watching. If you can follow, like, subscribe, rate, review, whatever it allows you to do wherever you are, it really does help us get pumped into more people's algorithms, which we love. And if you want more episodes from us, check out patreon.com/twofilthycasualspod for just $5 a month. Join the throng of filthiest casuals and get some bonus episodes for yourself. I think that's everything. I normally look at Kris and she's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. And then we wrap up. Okay. That's a little sneak into the creative process.
Little BTS.
We got to do a little at each other.
Do you want me to fill in for that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah, you miss your co-host, don't you?
Yeah, Kris will be back next week. But thank you again, Eric. I'm sure we'll be seeing more of you soon. And until next time, I'm Amy Newman.
I'm Eric Danes.
And remember, if you followed this fandom, you'd be home by now. Go phase into a back room. Quick, I'll fix it in post.